Sorry, I had to take a quick pause. The phone was ringing. I wasn't prepared for that. Panicked a little bit and hit the pause button. Now let me pick up where I left off. Chris Wells, like I said, they always have a back I don't like, and he always turns out to be a stud. So I'm going to have to give him the benefit of the doubt on this guy, and I'm going to go ahead and out on a limb say he's going to be an okay third running back for them. So right now, they're top three running backs: Adrian Peterson, Ronnie Brown, Chris Wells. Overall, I mean, I would say that's a B-, and I think I'm being a little bit favorable to them. I mean, ADP is really the majority of that grade, but I'm going to go with a B-, probably somewhere between a C+ and a B-. Wayne and Hoosh, I would say that's pretty much a B+. One's a stud, one's very solid. Dallas Clark at tight end, that's, you know, B+. They have Cutler as a keeper who should be solid. I don't think he's going to be spectacular. He doesn't have Brandon Marshall or Eddie Royal to throw to anymore. He's got the one-trick pony Devin Hester, who is also on their bench. But overall, this is a playoff team. I think that they made pretty solid picks up and down the board. I think they reached for Ronnie Brown. I think the worst pick of their draft is Ronnie Brown. Their bench is decent. Nothing special. C+ on the bench. They've got a couple of guys who are backups. A couple of guys could pan out. Not so much high upside here. As far as keepers, C+. Right now, it looks like the number one keeper option is John Carlson, the tight end of Seattle. I mean, even if he produces like a top 5 or 6 tight end, I mean, that's not a great keeper, to be honest. Moving on. Team number 2. Now, this team should really lose points just for the annoying names that he comes up with. Do we even know what the name of this team really is? I mean, does he have a name? I don't understand. So I'm just going to call him team number 2 for now. First pick, Michael Turner, stud. Can never go wrong with that. Follows up with a great combo of Roddy White and Steve Smith. 2 top 10 receivers. You know what you're going to get out of these guys. You didn't take a chance on a running back here that might not pan out, that we're not sure what they're. These guys, year in and year out, top 10 guys. Deadly start right here. This is a deadly combination. Comes back in the 4th round, which I think is a reach, Derek Ward. Guy's got a lot of talent, but not in the greatest offensive scheme. Okay? His offensive line is great. I'd probably rate them a B+ or an A on the offensive line, but the defense isn't what it used to be, so that's going to be less plays for the offense. The other team's going to be on the field. They have no passing game. They don't know who their quarterback is. They're trying to decide between Luke McCown and Byron Leftwich right now, which doesn't strike fear in anybody's hearts. So, I don't think they're going to be on the field a lot. I don't think there's going to be a lot of offensive plays to go around. Aside from that, they have one of the toughest rushing schedules in the league. So, really, this guy's on my do not draft list. And he took him in the 4th round. Could he pan out? Sure, anything can happen. But there's just too many intangibles around him that I don't like right now that I wouldn't have went with. He follows up in the 5th and 6th rounds with McFadden and Stewart. Both high upside guys. McFadden, they're talking about getting 20 touches between passing and receiving this year. He'll probably make a solid running back number 3 on this team. Jonathan Stewart, I like the guy. We're going to see what we're going to get. D'Angelo's ahead of him. Can D'Angelo follow up on what he did last year? I'm not sure. So in his starting lineup, he's got a keeper in Phillip Rivers, who's a top 5 guy. He's a stud. His number 1 running back is a top 5 guy. 2 top 10 receivers. And he's going to find somewhere to get points out of Derek Ward, McFadden, Jonathan Stewart, and who he seems to like, Cedric Benson. Not a big fan. But as a starting lineup, this is a pretty good group. He grabbed this tight end, Zach Miller. I mean, the guy's a borderline top 10 guy. He's average. Nothing more than that. So his quarterback, Phillip Rivers, hey. His running backs, Michael Turner, Derek Ward, McFadden as starters. I would rate that group as probably the same thing, somewhere between a C plus and a B minus in that area. Roddy White and Steve Smith as a group, A. Doesn't get much better. Tight end, C. Overall, this is a good team as long as he gets production out of one or two of those guys, Derek Ward, McFadden, and Stewart. He should be a playoff team. Moving on to Team 3, the Ass Man. MJD in the first round, stud. Follows up with Calvin Johnson in the second, should be a stud. Comes back with Brady in the third, stud. He has just put together a combination that could pretty much be unbeatable right here in the first 3 rounds. He's got a top 5 running back, a top 5 receiver, top 5 quarterback. So any given week, he's going to outproduce you at these 3 positions on a weekly basis for the most part. Comes back in the fourth, and here's where his draft starts going a little downhill. Takes a big reach on Sean Moreno. I'm not saying the guy's not talented, but he's already hurt. He's not getting snaps. He's not learning the NFL. I just don't see it. I gotta be honest. It's a little bit of a running back by committee there. I think he could have gotten the guy later, and I wouldn't trust him as my number 2 running back. But to each his own. Wes Welker in the 5th is a solid wide receiver too. He's not spectacular. He's not going to scare anybody. When you play pops on any given week and you see Welker sitting in the lineup, you're not going to say, oh, I'm in trouble, Welker's there. But he's above average. He's solid. Third running back, Larry Johnson. This was 2002, great. But it's 2009, we're in the age of video and iPods and all kinds of crazy things, and just don't think LJ is keeping with the times. I wouldn't feel comfortable with him as a number 3, but that doesn't make it right or wrong. His tight end is Kellen Winslow, who could be good, he could be bad. Really hard to get a judge on this guy. The offense is not going to be very good. He's injury prone. But who else are they going to throw, though? I can't fault that pick. He took him in the 10th round. It's not a bad pick. Overall, starting lineup, Brady as quarterback, A. Going through Moreno and Larry Johnson as a running back group. I mean, this is a C+. I mean, and only MJD is keeping it at a C+, or else this could be an F. His receivers, Calvin Johnson, Wes Welker, I would give that a B-. Tight end, Winslow, B-. Overall, I think this team, I really think this team is just outside of the playoffs right now. I mean, anything's going to happen during the season between free agency, injuries, trades, but just walking out of the draft, I think this team is just outside of a playoff team. He's really going to need some production out of those running backs, and I don't know if he's going to get it. Team 4, the Bone Crushers. Steven Jackson in the first. Do I like the pick? No, but I don't fault the guy for making the pick. A lot of people have high opinions on this guy as a top 5 back. Marion Barber in the second is a great pick. He takes Colston and Roy Williams in the 3rd and 4th. Love Colston. Great upside. A little worried about the injury. Microfracture surgery during the off season. I don't know how well he's going to come back from that. The guy's